Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of OK Takes. I am Matt, and as always, I am joined by my fellow capo, Edward Vento. As of 8:26 p.m. West Coast time, Trea Turner now owns the slickest slide in baseball history. So we are going to catch you guys up on the past two wins in Philadelphia, and following that, we will pivot to Hard Knocks. Pat yourselves on the back, folks, because we made it. Football is upon us. Phase two of football season being officially back is here. So we're going to talk Mike McCarthy's Mojo moment, Jerry Jones McMuffingate, and Micah Parsons is the next Ray Lewis, because we're just going to jump to every conclusion imaginable right now. But before talking about all things related to Hard Knocks, let's start with tonight's win in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, fuck the weather in just the East Coast. Like, ban East Coast games from ever happening. The Dodgers should play every game on the West
Or
Coast.
just get roofs.
Or yeah, or just every East Coast stadium should
Mhm.
have indoor or should be indoors.
Yeah, there is actually a solution to this problem. It's very easy.
Because when that rain delay yesterday, I immediately typed in my notes, fuck the weather in Philadelphia, just because I
Mhm.
wanted to bring it up. But I do have to say, the only good thing to come from the rain delay was Aaron Nola leaving the game yesterday. And I know we want to get into today's game first, but I just wanted to mention that.
Oh yeah, no, we were cucked out of the pitcher's duel of the century because I mean we're obviously going to talk about Scherzer. We know how good he was, but Nola had 7 strikeouts in 4 scoreless innings. We could have been looking at 8 innings and dare I say 12 strikeouts, because that was the way it was going to head down. But yeah, so I mean, let's before you get, because we're going to go into all things game one related, but game one, where it's not officially over yet. It's the top of the ninth, I believe, 6-2. So it's looking good. But a classic game where we get hits with runners in scoring position. In the top of the sixth, we had the three RBI singles that inning, just perfect, situational, getting the job done. Next man up, he contributes, and smooth sailing. However, there is some news about Cody Bellinger, and we have good news.
Yes, he is so back. He is so back.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, now I'm kind of in a weird spot where I'm in a total jinx off because I blogged about how Bob Nightengale originally jinxed Belly, and we talked about it last episode. But Bob Nightengale puts out a tweet August 6th saying he's hitting 180 and he's dropped to eighth in the batting order. He's one of the worst hitters in baseball, and then now he's on an 8 game hitting streak. And so now I can't escape the jinx because it's like I jinx him, but what if Belly jinxes me? But then it's like it's a constant Spider-Man gif of like they're both pointing at each other. It's like who's gonna out jinx the other person first?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I believe that Bob Nightingale is what woke up Cody, but I hope you don't put him back to sleep because right now, like you said, he is on an 8 game hit streak, not to mention 4 consecutive games with an extra base hit, including a home run today, a 2 run home run today that opened the scoring. So, like right after the rain delay. So, and especially with bets down and the injuries are starting to pile up, this is the guy that needs to come alive, and he's coming alive at the right time.
Hmm. At this point, you could fill a yellow pages with all the Dodgers injuries. Like for Christ's sake, you can't go a full week without seeing Edwin Uceta being called up,
Yeah, yeah, or Garrett Clevenger's back. Like, fuck.
and then he goes back down because he's injured,
Yeah.
and then you have to bring Uceta up, and then Quackenbush, Mr. Duck Pubes, has to come back up. So
Thank
it's
God
a
we
shit
got
show.
Knable back.
And yeah, so I mean, that's like one of the only bright spots that we have going on. But for the most part, Dodgers news besides Scherzer and the Trea Turner slide, it's kind of bleak because like I just said, there are injuries all over the place. So you're just
Yeah,
praying that guys like Bellinger step up. I mean, this is the point. This is the time. Like this is the crucible for Belly. Can he step up when the team really needs him? And we don't have the luxury of putting him in AAA to figure shit out.
yeah, and I mean, like you said, like it's go time. Like this is it right here. We're 4 games behind. The last I saw, the Diamondbacks were pulling back. They were only down by 1, I believe, with runners runners on, so who knows what's going to happen in that game. But yeah, it's go time right now. And like the injuries piling up right now are not what we need.
No, and I mean, happening at a bad time. It's what separates a lot of good teams between great teams. Teams who get it sneak into the wild card, don't go far in the playoffs. Are your star players healthy when the time comes? Dodgers are not looking that healthy right now, but I mean, it's just a wait and see. Can a Bellinger step up? That's it. Put up or shut up.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm Dave Roberts, honestly, I put Mookie Betts in bubble wrap until October. Like I would contemplate shutting him down until October because
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that his hip is going to hold up throughout the run because I think no matter where this team gets in, if they just get in, they probably will, but you never know what's going to happen. If they get in, and whether it's wild card or winning the division, they can win it all.
Mm-hmm.
And not if Mookie Betts isn't healthy, not if Clayton Kershaw isn't healthy, not if Corey Knebel has lingering issues. Like we need these guys in October.
Mm-hmm. So, segues to thank God for Max Scherzer and what he's been able to do. All right, so I have an embrace debate question. Is Max Scherzer the scariest Dodgers starting pitcher of all time, at least in our lifetimes?
Define what you mean by scariest. Scariest looking or scariest to face?
Combine the two.
If you're combining the two, then yes, because I do think that prime Clayton Kershaw's like stuff, like his pitches, his like to face prime Kershaw was scarier than I think facing where Max Scherzer is now. But Kershaw just looks like a teddy bear. I see Kershaw and I want to give him a hug. Like he looks like such a nice guy. Whereas Max Scherzer, like he still has filthy stuff, but he's also like a pretty scary looking dude. Like I wouldn't want to tussle with him.
Like Kershaw's a family man. Max Scherzer, you keep your family away from him. You go by all
Yeah.
costs. You're like already every time you see him, like with the kids in the locker room, you think about getting a restraining order.
Yeah. It might be the different colored eyes. Honestly, that does it.
You know what? He has the different color eyes, but he has an all-time stare down face of we talked about this before. Guy from iCarly who set the world record for not blinking. Scherzer has major murder, never blinking eyes. His eyelashes are like his eyelashes are or his top eyelashes are anti gravity. They refuse to come down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and the Scherzer experience so far has been really, really sublime because he's incredibly fun to watch. Like yesterday, we got cucked out of a really nice start from him. He had 6 strikeouts and 3 1/3 scoreless. He had gave up 3 hits, no walks, and 10 of the 12 batters he faced had 2 strikes on them at some point. My favorite part of Scherzer has to be like the ball fondling thing he does before every pitch, where he's going through and he's like really deciding whether to use like the brute force of a fastball and just put an axe through your brain like Patrick Bateman, or go the route of the changeup and just use the world's greatest booby trap because it's fastball the first 99% of the way there and changeup the last 1%. And I like alluded to you're calmly marching through a jungle with the boys, and then you step on a noose and you're hanging from a tree by your foot. And your foot's in a rope, and then now you're about to get killed by the Viet Cong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all good until the last 1%.
Breaking news. I just want to say this. Cody Bellinger just sent another ball to the moon.
You're kidding.
It's 8-2, 2-run home run. He just got his hug from Albert.
Fuck yes. Oh,
Live reaction here. I stuck my hand up. I don't know if you saw that. He started begging it to stay fair, and it stayed fair. It's 8-2. Sorry.
oh no, I mean, yeah. If there was any time to interrupt with breaking news, like this isn't when SportsCenter puts up breaking news and it's Steph Curry's out with the hamstring injury. No, this was legitimate breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, just puts more emphasis on he's back, and he's back when we need him to be back.
Oh, fuck yes. Fuck yes. All right, but quick dive back to Max Scherzer. I think he's my favorite pitcher to watch. He really is psycho. He really is psycho. And it feels like the Dodgers like stumbled upon uh a real deep gold rush, But in all reality, he's been around forever. I mean, when he took his cap off to wipe sweat from his forehead, you see thinning hair. He's a decade away from hair plugs. So it's like weird, and then you watch him pitch, and you're like, holy shit, where did this rookie come from? Because it really feels like just a ball of like just youthful energy. We watch Tatis play, you could tell that he has nothing but life in him. We watch Scherzer play, I get the same vibes, except when I actually see him without a hat on, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Boston time, bud.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. He brings electric energy. Like he's like I don't like Walker Bueller's not like a like he brings energy, don't get me wrong, but he's not a like a scream after a start. Like he does sometimes, but like he reacts in the playoffs. Max Scherzer's a guy where if he strikes you out in the bottom of the sixth in a game in the middle of July, he's gonna scream at the top of his lungs. Whereas Bueller doesn't really do that. So I totally agree. Max Scherzer is electric to watch.
He's like Jack Black in what was the movie with Robert Downey Jr. They're in the jungle, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, yeah.
He's never on. He's always on go mode. Always on go mode. There's no off switch,
Yeah.
except he doesn't go full. Won't say that word. Um, I'm pre-canceling myself.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. All right, and then let's set the scene for the Trea Turner slide because we witnessed the greatest achievement of mankind.
Yeah, I mean, Will Smith's or Trea Turner was on second, Will Smith at the plate, and he singles to right, and it's a really hard hit single. So I had a feeling Dino was going to send him, but I was like, oh God, this is going to be a really close play at the plate because it was on a line and then it bounced. But it looked to me, now we were talking about this earlier, it looked to me like it bounced and then kind of rolled a little bit and it left Harper a little flat-footed and he didn't really charge it, where if he would have been charging it, he could have picked it up and maybe had a chance. I haven't been able to go back and watch the play, but from what I remember, Harper could have made more of an effort, but I mean, still, Turner just was all systems go as soon as Smith made contact and had probably the smoothest slide you'll see in a long time.
So I watched it back because originally I thought it was because he was hung up because it was a line drive and didn't know how hard in to go for the ball. But no, like I think I was watching, and then you hear I heard Joe Davis commentary on again, and I think Harper was like, "There's no way Trea Turner's going to go on this. Come on, what are you talking about?" Or no, there's no way a human would go on this. But once again, Trea Turner is not human. This is a cheetah on the base paths.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as this goes, I have just three rapid fire takes. I'm going to empty the clip. So first take, he would put up Derek Hough and Nicole Scherzinger numbers in Dancing with the Stars. Take number two, if you made a clone combining the powers of Usher, Chris Brown, Michael Jackson in the Smooth Criminal video, guaranteed they all wouldn't be together to pull it off. Like you combine all those incredible dancers, put them in one. Michael Jackson literally defied gravity. Still, he wouldn't be able to pull that off. Third and final, are we sure he was sliding on dirt and just not an invisible slip and slide with Dawn dish soap on the plate?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite take out of all of those has got to be Dancing with the Stars, because we've seen so many athletes go up there and just kind of lock up, and they aren't really very like, I don't know the word to use, but like they're very stiff when they dance. But you're totally right. Trea Turner would put up big time numbers in Dancing with the Stars.
Well, you know what's funny is that I think I'm gonna disagree. I've watched them put like even some old farts. Like I remember Emmett Smith dominated. He did his thing.
That was awesome when he won. Yeah.
AB did his thing. So there are athletes who put up major numbers, but I will make the preemptive take and say if any athlete were to go, if there was like, if you take all athletes, put them in Dancing with the Stars competition or Dancing with the Athletes, Trea Turner would win. Hands down, no questions asked. That was the only convincing I need. I mean, he moonwalked on dirt.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think he would definitely make it far, if not win.
He'd be an absolute wagon.
Mm-hmm.
It would like at the end of the round, the ping pong paddles would fly up and it would say 10.
10, yeah. Just perfect 10s across the board every time.
Hmm. All right. Oh, God, it feels so good. It feels so good to announce this.
Say it. I can't wait. Say it. Say it.
Hard Knocks time.
Yes.
Okay. I have another kind of bonkable take. Mic'd up football pads clashing are on my Mount Rushmore of sounds that get me aroused that have nothing to do with sex.
Yeah, I would need to see I don't know. I would need to think about that, but that's definitely like the sound of a baseball hitting a or like a bat hitting a baseball is up there too, as far as sports go.
Not even close for me. Sounds of
No,
all the
stop,
we're
stop,
talking
stop,
all
stop,
the sounds
stop,
of the
stop.
world. You give me mic'd up pads. I am rushing with blood throughout my penis, my entire body.
No, no, okay. I could go on for days, but when someone barrels up a home run, there's no sound better. I'm sorry. There's no sport sound better than
It might be some recency bias, but
that.
I
But
don't
you're
know.
right. No, mic'd up pads are awesome. And Hard Knocks is awesome.
Aroused. I can't even. I'm gonna turn it very horny, and it made me very aroused. But for the most part, like Hard Knocks is the best. This is the one day where this is a big day where we're just getting closer. We're getting closer. You wake up, coffee tastes a little sweeter, and the traffic on your way to your destination is a little bit more bearable. That's it. That's it. Okay. Where would you like to start with this?
Well, I want to throw in one thing that we don't have to touch on too long because I'm a very like anti preseason guy, especially in the NFL. I understand that for a lot of the players, this is it for them. This is either make the team or get cut, so it has that element to it. But like I tried watching part of the Hall of Fame game live when it was happening, and I was like, this is brutal. Like this is hard to watch. And then watching Hard Knocks last night, I was like, this is awesome. Like, why can't every game be mic'd up? Like, I have a take that I've always stood by, and I'll mention this to you and then move on. I would pay whatever it takes to watch an unfiltered pay per view mic'd up sporting events like regular season. Imagine an NBA game where every player has mics and you could pay like $50 to watch the Lakers play the Nets and you have no commentators, you just hear the sounds of the game, you just hear the players, like that's it. Like I live for that. I'm a big behind the scenes guy.
I will say this though, when they know the cameras are rolling, it's not the same. Give me a game from like the night. Give me Larry Bird in the '80s, or give me Bill Russell in the '70s. Hopefully, I get my timing right. I want it to know. I want it to be going as if the players don't know they're being recorded. That's how I want to filter it out. I pay pay per view for that, but I wouldn't be pay per view for what we're getting right now. But that's my
That's
take.
fair. No, that's fair. That's a fair point to make. I'm just a big behind the scenes mic'd up guy with everything, with movies. I love watching behind the scenes stuff. And especially with sports, I live for it. I just live for the banter.
Hmm. It's incredible. No, I mean, you literally just if we eliminated fun banter that we don't get to see on camera, we eliminated every athlete's podcast in the world.
Yeah.
Every
The JJ
memoir.
Redick show, gone.
Hmm. Because I mean, it's the best. Like that's why I love watching Curb and even Seinfeld as well. The behind the scenes. What is it like behind the camera?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hmm.
But
All right.
as far as the show goes,
Yeah.
you can kind of take the lead on this one. Where do you want to hit based on content? What do you
Oh, easy. Mike McCarthy Mojo moment. This is a classic example of it's a good premise. What he's trying to do, it's like, what is his intentions behind this shtick? He wants to get the team ready for when moments come throughout the game. And so, okay, so first I'll preface this with the Mojo moment was him setting up moments in practice that completely flip momentum. So you're starting to players are starting to figure out smart, good, prepared. They're being prepared for situational football. Those downs where the make or break it kind of plays, the plays that end up in a field goal instead of a touchdown that end up costing you later on. So this is a good idea. he wants guys to be prepared, and he runs through some of these drills through practice, which is what every team does. That's what a lot of this information comes from Pat McCarthy. But yeah, so it makes sense. However, the Mojo moment spawns back to Austin Powers and using the play on the whole theme of the movie, which I mean, I don't even like. I'm an Austin. I know you feel one way. I'm an Austin Powers guy, where it's like, yeah, it's funny. Not in my all time classics, but it's funny. However, in the football world, comedy movies are soft. Here's just a little basic football guy 101. Every piece of motivation needs to be intertwined with an animal murdering another animal. So, like, if you show in locker room pregame or just at any time, if you show a lion mangling a zebra and just tearing through its internal organs and leaving with a mane that's drenched in blood and dripping, and your linebackers then go out and miss tackles in the game or are lazy when it comes to stopping the running back and plugging up holes, that's not on you. That's on them. You have free hands. You did everything you can.
And I mean, going back to the movie choice of it being like a comedy, it's like, imagine showing an NBA team grown-ups and telling them to run like motion 47 or whatever the play is at the very beginning, where they throw it off of Chris Rock's head and it ends up setting him open and his foot's on the line. Like, you just don't do that. You're not going to show it LeBron grown-ups and tell him to run that play. So I totally agree with you.
You're not going to tell Steph Curry to hit a three in the corner by tossing off the backboard.
Yeah. He never misses those.
Yeah. This was just such a miss that is very cringy for the, let's be honest, cringy for the fans. I didn't see a whole lot of good reception towards it on Twitter, and one can only imagine the players, because this was one of my favorite moments, and actually great part about shows I just mentioned and then real life documentaries where you get to really see the behind the scenes awkward moments. I live for dead silence. That's what I really live for. I live for moments that you have nothing else to say because you're in such awe at the stupidity you just witnessed. So this was quote taken from after. So Mike McCarthy was joking with Dak Prescott and said, "Damn, Dak, see what you're missing? A Mojo moment." So Dak was currently, he recovered from the ankle, but now he strained his shoulder or elbow, whatever the fuck it is. And he said, yeah. So Dak literally dead face looked him right in the eyes and said, "Trust me, nobody wants to be out there more than me." And McCarthy is like awkward. He's kind of blown away. So he's just like, "I'm just busting your balls, champ." He tucked tail so quickly.
Yeah, that was totally a Michael Scott moment.
He went too far, and he's starting to see these moments backfire. It was kind of like when Cuomo put out the slideshow of him groping every man and woman in the on the Western Hemisphere. We're like, ooh, maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maybe this should have seen a couple more sets of eyes. You're like, ooh, that did not. I had this whole plan in my head where this would be the one to unite the team, and now I'm kind of losing distance with them. Remember the office scene where Jim is talking to Pam and she doesn't, and I think it's about cleaning the microwave, and she's like, "Are you?" And they're at the reception desk, and he's like, Are you distancing yourself from me?" And he's like, "No, I'm not." And she says, "Reach out," and he can't even touch her with the fuck. Like, his arm doesn't even reach anywhere near the desk. That's kind of what Mike McCarthy just did.
Yeah, it was a definite swing and a miss.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll let you take away the Jerry Jones classic, because we're gonna investigate this.
This was without question my favorite little just moment of the whole episode. He was on the phone. I can't remember who he was talking to.
I think it was the trainer talking about Dak's injury, and so Jerry Jones is kind of pissed off because Dak isn't able to throw and is a little slight kerfluffle because Jerry's like, "Why can't he throw short passes?" Trainer's like, "We're completely shutting him down." So just to set the scene.
So he's sitting there on the phone, and so I've got two things to bring up. The first is the best part. He's got a McGriddle on a plate. And that makes me just be like, yeah, this is a billionaire. because he's eating a McGriddle on a plate. Like, you don't eat a McGriddle on a plate. You just don't.
Well, you eat it on your car. You eat in your car on the way to the destination, and you drive with your knees.
And then the other part that I loved was the water bottle was turned around so you couldn't see the brand. We all know it was Aquafina. You don't have to hide it. We all knew it was Aquafina. And when he unwrapped the McGriddle, you know how like on the top there's an M on the pancake? The M was blurred out, but we all know what he's eating. So I loved that. It was so funny. He had a McGriddle on a plate. He had an Aquafina facing the other way, so he couldn't see that it said Aquafina, and the M was blurred out. It was just an amazing moment.
So it's confirmed that it was McGriddle because I got the impression it was a McMuffin.
So are
See,
you
I
willing
think
to put your reputation on the
I
line?
am, because the
Okay.
McGriddle has an M shape on top of the pancake, and the top part was blurred out. It has to be. There's no M on the McMuffin.
Okay. All right. So, and a big thing with that is next to the McGriddle was a black cup of coffee. And immediately I'm like, oh my God. Black coffee plus geriatric man plus McGriddle equals the next a potential replacement for napalm. The Jerry Jones farts, because we all know how bad old men smell, or old men smell and old people smell, is awful. I hate going to retirement homes. It's the worst place on earth. There's a certain stench that they carry around with them. Oh, awful.
There's a reason why Tony's mom didn't want to go.
Exactly. Good callback. But yeah, old man farts plus black coffee farts. Jesus Christ. He could clear a locker room.
Yeah, definitely.
He has remember the fart gun from Despicable Me?
Yes.
That's what you're going to be. That's what you're going to expect.
Oh yeah.
And then my next favorite Jerry Jones moment was the press conference early on where he was just bumbling and crying at the same time. Like, at what point are we just close to labeling him a senile old man?
The best part of that was my friend, when we were watching that, he was like, "This is giving me major Joe Biden vibes." He's like, he's about to mistake his daughter for his sister. And I was like, you know what? That's a great way to put it.
He's at the point now where, okay, so you haven't won in a very long time. I believe it's 27 years. And the team is in the final year. Like, we don't know how much longer, and we're going to get to Zeke, but we really don't know how much longer they're going to be at elite level. The whole O-line, like, what we know is the Cowboys O-line, everything just feels like it's so close to ending and that we're not going to actually see a big performance, an incredible season. We know we're seeing a letdown. We know we're seeing a letdown.
8-9.
Fuck, still not used to that.
It's disappointing that they can't go 8-8, Dallas. Like, that's the only reason why I don't like the 17-game season.
Yeah, you can't eliminate 500. But yeah, it's just, and then he started crying, and here's just a word of advice. If you have nothing to say, start crying, and it'll make every word seem much more powerful.
Oh yeah.
So smart move by him. And then we have, we're going to talk a little about Micah Parsons. So every time you have the rookie, you're for Hard Knocks, like they're going to follow them around. A lot of the shows will be based around him. I think we have a good personality because I'm not even going to count 2020 Hard Knocks because it was two teams and it was fucking.
It sucked.
It sucked. It wasn't good. It was just nobody's fault. It was just Corona. 2019, they had to follow Jonathan Abrams around. And the first episode, he was asking Derek Carr about whether it was salmon or salmon. And it was the most painful thing. And he went, as soon as he dived down to the conversation of, is it almond or almond? The silent L conversation, bad, boring, nothing there. Wet blanket.
Yeah.
So, I
I think Micah Parsons is awesome. Like, his personality was awesome. Like, I loved when in the game, the Hall of Fame game, when he came out and he was on the phone with Dan Quinn and he was asking to stay in the game, and he told him no, and then he went and sat down next to his teammate. He was like, "Man, this sucks ass." Like, I love that. Like, I live for that kind of stuff. It was just funny to see him, and like he was young, so he was like talking trash with one player in practice, and he ended up like getting burnt the very next play by the player he was talking trash to. Like, that's just rookie shit. Like, I live for that.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be fun. I would rather have a guy who's annoying than a classic wake up, execute, just completely diplomatic, very political answers, boring, not much to follow. So I cannot wait. And sometimes a nice part about Hard Knocks is when we see the plane crash. There's nothing that it's probably better for Hard Knocks, all honesty, when things go wrong than when things go right. And just in general for life, I want to watch things go wrong. Like my favorite shows kind of follow that, but it's like I want to see him like be late to practice. Like I want to watch him hit CeeDee Lamb. I want to watch him go head hunting. You know what? I'm gonna stake my claim. Micah Parsons should go head hunting.
He should try to injure Zeke.
Oh my God.
And I mean, already this season of Hard Knocks, I can tell, is going to be all about Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott coming back from an injury. So just imagine if now Zeke has to try to recover from an injury.
Okay, well, one step ahead of you. What if the take is going to be Zeke should have stayed fat because it gave him more power and helped him fight off injuries?
That's exactly what the Cowboys slander people are going to be saying.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Well, you're looking at one. There's
Cowboy
no,
hater?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like the Yankees, even though, but they haven't won 27 championships and haven't won since Reagan was in office.
Yeah, the Cowboys are fun to slander, actually.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. That is going to wrap up the show. We had Max Scherzer, psycho, in a good way. We had Trea Turner slide. Belly is back, emergency, breaking news, home run. Our first breaking news of the OK Takes podcast. Bookmark that. And then we talked everything Hard Knocks. Mike McCarthy Mojo moment. Then we had Jerry Jones McGriddle gate. And then we ended with some Micah Parsons. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. So you can follow myself on social media at MattWeiner20. That's on Instagram, Twitter. You can follow Edward on Instagram and Twitter at Edward_Vento. But who gives a flying fuck what we have to say about the world of sports and everything else? Follow the OK Takes Pod account. So that is OK Takes Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. That is OKAY Takes Pod. Boom, takes 1 second. Would appreciate a ton. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and have a wonderful day.